Please be seated. Welcome back. Honorable judges, please note lot number 3 on the stage. I will just give the general instructions to the participants regarding the timing. The time allotted for you is 1 hour. After 55 minutes, there will be a short warning bell. And finally, after 1 hour, there will be a long bell. Chess number should be displayed properly on the right and left side of your hand. That means treasury bench will display your chess numbers on the right side of your hand and the opposition on the left hand. Regarding the mic, all the participants are requested to check the mic. There are 8 mics are allotted for the treasury bench and 6 for the opposition. Make sure that all the mics are working properly. If any problem, it should be reported immediately. So we can start the program. Treasury bench, you are ready? Yes, ma'am. Opposition ready? Yes, Secretary General ready? Yes. So all the best to all the participants. Your time starts now.
Honorable members, a very good afternoon to all of you. I welcome you all to the Regional Youth Parliament session, and I hope that this session will be fruitful. We begin today's session with the oath or affirmation of the newly elected members. Secretary General, please.
Sriman Chandrasekhar Basavaraj, who stands elected from Badami constituency of Karnataka state, will now take an oath on affirmation. Sriman Chandrasekhar Basavaraj, please. Sriman Chandrasekhar Basavaraj, do you want to take an oath on affirmation?
Oath, please.
In which language would you like to take your oath?
Sanskrit, please. श्रीमान चंद्रशेखर बसवराज महोदयं युवां संसदस्य आथोस्तरीय सदनस्य सदस्यरूपेण चयनम् अभवत् तेन ईश्वरस्य शपथा गृहान् अकथयत् अहं संविधानं प्रति पूर्णविश्वासं तथा निष्ठां परिपालयिष्ये एवञ्च अस्य सम्प्रभुता तथा दृढा नैतिकतां सदैव स्थास्यामि अहं पूर्णविश्वासेन सह स्वदायित्वानां परिपालयिष्यामि यस्मै अहम् अत्र सभागतोऽस्मि
Honorable members, it is with great sorrow and regret that I inform this House about the sad demise of our former colleague, Dr. Muhammad Badruddin Said, on 1st August in Andaman Islands. Born on 18th October 1951 in Rose Islands, he was a college professor by profession. He held a series of prestigious posts as Vice Chancellor of Central Universities before being held as a Member of Parliament. He was a very active social worker who worked for the upliftment of backward classes and bringing girls to the forefront of education.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, मैं अपने आप को और अपने पार्टी के सदस्यों को उस दुख के साथ यह व्यक्त करता हूँ जो देश डॉक्टर मोहम्मद बदौरुद्दीन सैद के आकस्मिक निधन पर महसूस कर रहा है। डॉक्टर मोहम्मद बदौरुद्दीन सैद, जिनका 61 वर्ष की आयु में ही निधन हो गया, वह एक प्रख्यात शिक्षाविद और एक महान व्यक्ति थे। वह एक सक्षम सांसद भी थे जिन्होंने सदन की कार्यवाही में गहरी दिलचस्पी ली। वह एक विपुल कवि और उपन्यासकार भी थे जिनके नाम के खिलाफ कई उल्लेखनीय प्रकाशन हैं। वह द्वीप समूह के लोगों के लिए एक प्रेरणा थे और उनकी उपलब्धियां इस देश के लोगों के लिए, खासकर युवा पीढ़ी के लिए मसाल वाहक हैं। मैं शोक संतप्त परिवार के प्रति हार्दिक संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूँ।
Respected Speaker, I associate myself and my party members with the loss and feel the void that the nation feels at the sad demise of Dr. Muhammad Badauddin Said. He was a very close friend of mine and played a very crucial role in the development of rural provinces. He was an amiable person and remained as a loving teacher throughout his life. In him, we have lost a true jewel, a true देशभक्त and a great countryman. मैं उनकी इस आकस्मिक मृत्यु से बहुत विचलित महसूस कर रही हूँ। वे एक ऐसे व्यक्तित्व थे जो गरीबों के दुख को यूं ही समझ जाते थे और उन्होंने अपने जीवन का कीमती समय गरीबों के लिए ही अर्पित किया है। महोदय, मैं अपनी पूरी समिति की ओर से डॉक्टर मोहम्मद बदौरुद्दीन सैद साहब को श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करना चाहती हूँ। उनके विचारों को श्रद्धांजलि पूर्वक मैं उन्हें समर्पित करना चाहूँगी। कौन जानता है कि मौत आए तो मैं मर जाऊँगा। मैं तो दरिया हूँ, समंदर में उतर जाऊँगा। मैं कल रहूँ या ना रहूँ, आने वाले कल पर मैं अपनी छाप छोड़ जाऊँगा।
The House may stand in silence for a while to express our deep sorrow. Secretary General, may please convey the message of condolence to the bereaved family.
Yes, ma'am.
Prime Minister may introduce new ministers.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, आप और आपके माध्यम से मैं इस पूरे सदन को अपने नए मंत्रियों का परिचय कराते हुए मुझे प्रसन्नता हो रही है। श्रीमान अभिजीत मिश्रा, माननीय युवा मामले और खेल मंत्री। श्रीमान साहिद अब्दुल्ला, माननीय वाणिज्य मंत्री। श्रीमती आराधना तिवारी, माननीय ऊर्जा मंत्री।
We now move on to question now. Question number 101. Mr. Keshav, please.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, पेट्रोल और डीजल की बढ़ती कीमत की वजह से आम लोग खर्च वहन करने में सक्षम नहीं है। इसके वजह से वे पेट्रोल और डीजल वाहनों को छोड़कर इलेक्ट्रिक वाहनें खरीदने लगे हैं। पर उनको क्या पता था कि ये कितनी बड़ी मुसीबत ला सकता है। माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, क्या सड़क परिवहन और राजमार्ग मंत्री यह बताने की कृपा करेंगे कि क्या सरकार ने विनिर्माता द्वारा कड़ी परिस्थितियों में इलेक्ट्रिक वाहनों का व्यापक परीक्षण सुनिश्चित करने के लिए कोई कदम उठाए हैं? यदि हाँ, तो तत्संबंधी ब्यौरा क्या है? यदि नहीं, तो इसके क्या कारण है?
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, मंत्रालय द्वारा समय समय पर अधिसूचित सुरक्षा मानकों का वाहन निर्माताओं द्वारा अनुपालन किया जाना अपेक्षित है। इन मानकों के अनुपालन का सत्यापन केंद्रीय मोटर यान नियमावली 1989 के नियम 126 के तहत अधिसूचित परीक्षण एजेंसियों द्वारा एक परीक्षण प्रक्रिया के माध्यम से किया जाता है और उसके बाद केवल उन्हीं वाहन प्रोटोटाइप को टाइप अनुमोदन प्रमाण पत्र जारी किया जाता है जो निर्दिष्ट मानकों को पूरा करते हैं। सड़क परिवहन और राजमार्ग मंत्रालय ने इलेक्ट्रिक दोपहिया वाहनों में हाल ही में हुई आग की घटनाओं को देखते हुए इलेक्ट्रिक वाहनों में बैटरी और उसके घटकों, BMS और संबंधित प्रणालियों के लिए सुरक्षा मानकों के निर्माण का सुझाव देने के लिए विशेषज्ञों की एक समिति का गठन किया है।
Any supplementaries? Yes, Mr. Keshav, please.
क्या सरकार ने इलेक्ट्रिक वाहनों पर आग लगने के कारण हुई दुर्घटनाओं के लिए ईवी के विनिर्माताओं पर जुर्माना लगाया है? यदि हाँ तो तत्संबंधी ब्यौरा क्या है? यदि नहीं तो इसके क्या कारण है?
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, मंत्रालय ने संबंधित 2 पहिया इलेक्ट्रिक स्कूटर निर्माताओं के मुख्य कार्यकारी अधिकारियों और प्रबंध निदेशकों को कारण बताओ नोटिस जारी किया है।
Members, please maintain silence.
हाँ, कारण बताओ नोटिस जारी किया है ताकि यह स्पष्ट किया जा सके कि मोटरयान अधिनियम की संबंधित धाराएं उनके खिलाफ क्यों नहीं लगाई जानी चाहिए। उनके उत्तर प्राप्त होने पर आगे की कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
No more supplementaries?
भारतीय अर्थव्यवस्था खड़ी संकट में है। अगस्त की महंगाई दर 7% बढ़ गई है।
आपको बीच में बोलने की इजाजत नहीं है, कृपया बैठ जाइए। Question number 102, Mr. Saurav, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, my question is towards the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Will the Minister of Tribal Affairs be pleased to state A. the details of initiatives taken by the government along with the funds allocated for the transformation of our tribal ecosystem in our country, including the state of Odisha?
Honorable Speaker, Madam, the government has adopted integrated approach for the welfare and development of the tribal people and transformation of the tribal ecosystem across the country. The tribal sub-plan, now called as the Scheduled Tribe Component, STC, is a dedicated source of fund for provision for support of education, skill development, women and child development, health and sanitation, preservation of cultural heritage, etc. 40 central ministries, I repeat, 40 central ministries or departments apart from the Ministry of Tribal Affairs has been mandated to earmark the tribal sub-plan fund in the range of about 4.3% to 17.5% of their total scheme allocation every year for the overall development of the tribal community. Details of funds allocated to different ministries are reflected in the union budget as statement 10B, which is laid on the table of the House.
Any supplementaries?
No, ma'am.
Question number 103, Ms. Lakshmi, please.
Honorable Speaker, ma'am, the National Education Policy 2020 has given many provisions for the improvement of the teaching sector. But most of the things still lie in the paper. My question goes to Honorable Education Minister. Ma'am, what are the reforms taken by the government to improve the teaching sector in the country? A. What are the guidelines issued to the states and union territories to ensure minimal level of learning? B. What measures have been taken to provide quality training to the teachers?
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I want to assure the honorable members of Parliament that my government is taking the reforms very seriously. I want to put forward the following points to the members. As per Swami Vivekananda, education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. In order to focus on quality education, the Central Rules to the Rights of Children to Free and Quality Education Act 2009 have been amended to include reference on class-wise and subject-wise learning outcomes that have been shared with all the states and union territories. This reveals improvement in learning achievement levels of pupils in identified subjects from first round to fourth round. For a long time, our universities have been clerk-producing factories. So, our government has taken all the initiative to give skill-based education so that students, after clearing their courses, can do other jobs than just becoming clerks.
Any supplementaries? Ms. Nandita, please.
Respected Speaker, Madam, many insensitive decisions taken by the government has been disastrous for our educational system.
This government has been spending crores of rupees in the name of National Achievement Service every year. But the outcomes of this have never come to light for the common man of this country. Can the minister show any evidence of qualitative improvement through these tests?
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I want to inform the members that 4 rounds of National Achievement Surveys have been conducted so far for Class 5 and 3 rounds for Classes 3 and 8. This reveals improvement in learning achievement levels of pupils in identified subjects from 1st round to 4th round. Our government wants to give quality education to the students. Therefore, all untrained in-service teachers working in government and private unaided schools should acquire minimum qualification as laid down by academic authority authorized by the central government by August 31st, 2022. And also, a 4-year B.Ed integrated course to bring about qualitative improvement in teacher education programs in India has been conceptualized. I hope I have satisfactorily answered the question put forward by the Honorable Member. Thank you.
Question number 104, Mr. Jyotiranand, please.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, इस सरकार ने किसानों के कल्याण के लिए अभी तक कुछ भी नहीं किया है, ना ही खाद के क्षेत्र में और ना ही सिंचाई के क्षेत्र में। जब भी भाषण देते हैं जय जवान जय किसान करते हैं, लेकिन आए दिन हमें किसानों की आत्महत्या की खबरें सुनने को मिलती है। मैं इस अवसर के माध्यम से माननीय कृषि मंत्री जी से कुछ प्रश्न करना चाहूंगा। क्या सरकार ने किसानों और कृषि क्षेत्र से जुड़े सभी लोगों के लिए कुछ किया है? किसानों को खाद्यान्न बेचने की लागत के अनुसार उचित मूल्य नहीं मिल रहा है। क्या आदरणीय कृषि मंत्री इसका कारण बता सकते हैं?
सम्मानीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, अपने इस सदन में मुझे बोलने का मौका देने के लिए मैं सर्वप्रथम आपका आभार व्यक्त करता हूं और आपके माध्यम से विपक्ष माननीय सदस्य से आरोप किए गए प्रश्नों का जवाब भी देता हूं। मैं आपके माध्यम से पूरा सदन को यह बताना चाहता हूं कि हमारी सरकार ने किसानों के लिए कई ऐसे तरीके अपनाए हैं, जैसे पहला, किसान सम्मान निधि के माध्यम से किसानों को हर साल 2000 के कितने 2000 के 3 किस्तें दिए जा रहे हैं। दूसरी बात, क्रेडिट कार्ड के माध्यम से किसानों को महज 3% की दर से लोन भी दिया जा रहा है। तीसरी बात, सोलर पंप सेट लगाने पर सब्सिडी भी दिया जा रहा है। और चौथी बात, वर्ष 2022 और 23 में हमारे माननीय वित्त मंत्री द्वारा 15 लाख करोड़ रुपए सिर्फ कृषि के क्षेत्र में खर्च करने का लक्ष्य भी रखा गया है। आदरणीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, ये हमारी सरकार है जो किसानों को आय दुगनी करने में सतत प्रयास कर रहे हैं। ये हमारी सरकार है जो 14 खरीफ और 11 रबी को मिलाकर 25 मुख्य खाद्य सामग्रियों की मूल्यों को दुगने करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। मैं कुछ खाद्य सामग्रियों का न्यूनतम समर्थन मूल्य यानी MSP 2014 और 2022 से तुलना करता हूं। दान 2014 MSP में 1400, लेकिन 2022 MSP में 2060। बाजरा 2014 MSP में 1250, लेकिन 2022 MSP में 2350। रागी 2014 MSP में 1550, लेकिन 2022 MSP में वह 3580 तक बढ़ चुका है। ऐसे अनेक खाद्यान्न सामग्री और भी हैं जिनका न्यूनतम समर्थन मूल्य हमने पिछले 8 सालों से दुगना।
मेंबर्स प्लीज मेंटेन साइलेंस।
हैरानी की बात नहीं है, यही है सच्चाई। हमने पिछले 8 सालों से ऐसे और अनेक खाद्यान्न सामग्रियों के न्यूनतम समर्थन मूल्यों को 1.5 गुना तक बढ़ा चुका है। धन्यवाद।
Any supplementaries? Yes, Mr. Devanarayanan, please.
Ma'am, I feel that the government has not done anything for the economical and social development of the farmers.
Mr. Devanarayanan, this is question now. Please come to your question.
Yes, ma'am. Can respected agriculture minister tell what the government has done for the upliftment of the farmers?
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I want to tell the whole House, on behalf of you, that the public welfare schemes introduced by our government are the first one, neem coated urea scheme to stop the black marketing of urea. Second one, Prime Minister's Krishi Sinchan Yojana. Third one, per drop more crop scheme. Fourth one, Prime Minister's Rural Housing Scheme. Fifth one, Prime Minister's Crop Insurance Scheme. And the last one, the Ujjwala Yojana. Honorable Speaker, Madam, apart from this, there are many such other schemes which is not possible to say at this limited time, but through which the lives of farmers and the people associated with this agriculture sector are becoming easier. Thank you.
No more supplementaries. Question number 110, Mr. Milan Shankar, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, India has banned the manufacture, sale and use of single-use plastic items, but there is no clarity on the items covered under this rule. Nor do we have a proper implementation and monitoring of the same. Ma'am, my question is to the Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Will the Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change be pleased to state A, the salient features of the Plastic Waste Management Amendment Rules of 2022, and B, whether the government proposes to phase out all other plastic items such as packings of milk, chips, bread, etc. other than the plastic items banned by the government with effect from July 1st, 2022. If the details thereof along with the time frame for complete phase out of all the plastic items to achieve the target of total ban on plastic, and D, the efforts being undertaken by the government to spread awareness among the masses.
Honorable Speaker, ma'am. HD, a statement is laid on the table of the House. Statement refers to in reply to part HD of the Lok Sabha Start question number 310 on single-use plastic items, answered by honorable members of the Parliament. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has notified guidelines on extended producer's responsibility on plastic packaging via Plastic Waste Management Rule 2022 on the 16th of February 2022. The key highlights of the guidelines on extended producer's responsibility include mandatory targets for reuse of rigid plastic packaging, mandatory registration of PIPOs and PWPs through centralized online portal, coverage of 4 categories of plastic packaging, centralized online portal to support implementation of EPR. B and C, considering the adverse effect of littered single-use plastic item on terrestrial aquatic ecosystem, the Ministry has notified Plastic Waste Management Rule 2021 on the 12th of August 2021, prohibiting some single-use plastic items which have low utility and high retail potential with effect from the 1st of July 2022. The notification also prohibits stocking, distribution, importing, manufacturing, sale and usage of plastic carry bags having thickness less than 75 microns with effect from the 13th of September 2021 and plastic carry bags having thickness less than 120 microns with effect from the 31st of December 2021. Non-woven plastic carry bags having thickness less than 60 GSM is also prohibited from the 13th of September 2021. The items that are banned have been identified based upon the recommendation of an expert committee constituted by the Departments of Chemical and Petrochemical Government of India. The plastic packaging of chips, bread, milk, etc. is covered under the guidelines on EPR. The Union Government, through various central ministries and government agencies, have been involved in generating public awareness on plastic waste management and elimination of single-use plastic items. Two main initiatives done by our government are the e-pledge on Swachh Bharat Harit Bharat Green Plus, launched on My Government platform on the 5th of April 2022, and the one-month-long Indian Pen Awareness Campaign starting from the 1st of July 2022 along with states and union territories. The ministry alone is helpless. Our goal is to make India beautiful and clean. So why don't we work together as a team?
Any supplementaries? Yes, Miss Meenakshi, please.
Honorable Speaker, water pollution is a serious problem in our country. Our rivers are polluted by human actions such as discharge of industrial waste and domestic sewage which pollute the body. Will the Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change be pleased to see, according to the Air Pollution Global Cities ranking released by Greenpeace organization on the basis of NASA report, whether the Korba district of Chhattisgarh has been ranked 17 in the world, whether the said pollution is affecting the adjacent districts also, and if so, whether the union government has taken any action to control the polluted water, and whether any study has been conducted about the adverse health effects of the said pollution on citizens.
Honorable Speaker, ma'am.
Actually, there is no established mechanism for ranking the cities in terms of pollution. It also requires authentic data and proper peer review. The government is aware of many private institutions and universities which rank cities adopting their own methods and data. Such data is extracted from satellite images which are not even validated by proper ground truthing. The analysis for ambient air quality of last 5 years by CPCB shows that the concentration of sulfur dioxide in Korba city and its adjacent districts of Bilaspur is within the national ambient air quality standard. City-specific Clean Air Action Plan have been prepared and rolled out under the National Clean Air Program for implementation in 132 non-attainment cities and million-plus cities. The City Action Plan focuses mainly on city-specific short, medium, long-term action to prevent air pollution from sources such as vehicular emission, road dust, burning of biomass, landfills, etc. The action taken or being taken to control polluted water and other effluents discharged into the water by various nearby plants, factories, along with the pollution emanated from vehicular emission, industrial clusters, government private power plant is given as Annexure 2. Air pollution is one of the main factors for respiratory ailments and other associated diseases. But there is no conclusive data available in the country that suggests a direct connection between health and air pollution. Health effects of air pollution are synergistic manifestation of factors such as food habits, occupational habits, socio-economic status, health history, heredity, immunity, etc. of the individuals. Anyway, madam, NASA is too far away. Why don't you consult ISRO?
We now come to the end
हमारे देश में हजारों रोड दुर्घटनाएं हो रही है, हजारों मृत्यु हो रही है, जिसके लिए ये सरकार ने कोई कदम नहीं उठाया। अगर ये सरकार ने कुछ किया है तो वो है आम जनताओं को बेवकूफ बनाना। सारे रोड और सड़क खराब है। अगर ये सरकार ने कोई कदम उठाया है तो वो क्या है?
Members, please.
अग्निपथ स्कीम के द्वारा सरकार ने देश की सुरक्षा के लिए स्थायी सैनिकों की नियुक्ति के बदले युवकों की नियुक्ति केवल 4 सालों के लिए अस्थायी रूप से करने का निर्णय लिया है।
The question hour is already over.
मैम, प्लीज लेट मी कंटिन्यू। युवाओं को स्थायी रोजगार दिलवाने में असमर्थ होने के कारण ही ये सरकार अस्थायी नियुक्ति की योजनाएं बना रही है। आज मैं यहाँ ये याद दिला देना चाहूंगा कि एक सक्षम फौज को तैयार करने में 7 से 8 साल लग जाता है, खासकर सियाचिन और मरुस्थल जैसे क्षेत्रों में। केवल 4 सालों का अनुभव ये निश्चय ही विचारणीय है। अनुभवीन और अस्थायी नियुक्तियों में मातृभूमि पर मर मिटने की भावना और जोश पैदा करना टेढ़ी खीर है। राष्ट्र एवं देशभक्ति की प्रेरक शक्ति के अभाव में देश की सुरक्षा चिंता का विषय बन जाएगा।
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, सबसे पहले मैं सभी सदस्यों से आग्रह करूंगी कि अग्निपथ विषय का सकारात्मक पक्ष देके, ग्लास को खाली न देके आधा भरा हुआ पाए। हम मानते हैं कि हमारे देश में बेरोजगारी सबसे गंभीर समस्या बनी हुई है। इसके मद्देनजर ही हमने तीनों सेनाओं की मेधावी अधिकारियों और डिफेंस एक्सपर्ट से सलाह और चर्चा के बाद यह योजना बनाई है। इसीलिए इस सदन के माध्यम से मैं अपने देशवासियों को आश्वस्त कर यह बताना चाहती हूँ कि देश की सुरक्षा से किसी प्रकार का समझौता नहीं किया जाएगा। एक युवा अग्निवीर अनुभव संपन्न अफसरों एवं अधिकारियों का प्रशिक्षण और निगरानी में काम करेंगे। मैं अनुरोध करूंगी कि देश की सभी जनता सरकार पर अपना पूर्ण विश्वास रखे और अग्निपथ स्कीम पर भरोसा रखते हुए एक प्रकार से अपने देश को उन्नयन में अपना योगदान दे। धन्यवाद।
Honorable Speaker, Madam, a serious breach of privilege has been committed by a leading newspaper of Delhi while commenting on the recommendation of the committee on public undertakings. It has attributed dishonest motives. I request you to allow me to raise a question on this matter now.
Have you given notice of it earlier? You may give due notice along with a copy of newspaper cutting and I shall consider it. You cannot spring a surprise on me like this.
I have already given a notice at 10 a.m. today.
It will be examined when it comes to me. I shall consider it and let you know my decision. Now, papers to be laid on the table. Honorable Minister of Commerce, Social Justice and Empowerment, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I beg to lay on the table a copy of annual reports, Hindi and English version of the National Institute of Empowerment of Persons with Multiple Disabilities, Kerala, for the year 2021 to 2022, along with allotted accounts.
Minister of Tribal Affairs.
Speaker, Madam, I beg to lay on the table a copy of the Memorandum of Understanding between the National Scheduled Tribe Finance Development and Corporation and the Ministry of Tribal Affairs for the year 2022 to 23.
Secretary General to report the message from the Upper Chamber of Youth Parliament.
Speaker, Madam, I have to report the following message received from the Upper Chamber of Youth Parliament. In accordance with the rules of procedure and conduct of business in the Upper Chamber of Youth Parliament, I am glad to enclose a copy of National Water Bill 2022 as its sitting is held on 21st March of 2022.
Secretary General to lay on the table a copy of the bill as passed by the Upper Chamber.
Speaker, Madam, I lay on the table of the House National Waterways Bill 2022 as passed by the Upper Chamber of Youth Parliament.
Honorable members, I have to make an announcement that I have great pleasure introducing to you our foreign delegates from Netherlands, Ms. Elena Mayes, the member of the Dutch Parliament, Mr. Joe Elias, Deputy Speaker. We wish them a happy stay in our country. We will convey our warm greetings and best wishes throughout His Majesty, Mr. Julian Thomas, the Prime Minister, the government and the friendly people of Netherlands. Now let us take up the calling attention motion. Ms. Panniga, Mr. Vinay Shegar, Ms. Chinmay. We'll call the attention of Ministers of Social Justice and Empowerment. Ms. Panniga, please.
Honorable Speaker, this government is very good at coining slogans and timing their new ideas. But there has been no concrete measures to curb drug abuse and the illegal trafficking of drugs worth thousands of crores. Not only our youth, but our children are also falling prey to substance abuse. To tackle this social issue, we need to put up a joint fight to break this network. If one state police takes strict action against these drug dealers and those involved in the illegal trafficking of drugs, then these drug dealers and peddlers shift to the neighboring states. The network of drug dealers is spread across the country and the government has not done enough to curb this menace. I would like to know whether the government has taken any measures to curb drug abuse and deal with the crisis of drug addiction among adolescents.
Ms. Chinmay, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, the NDPS Act of 1985 criminalizes both possession of drugs for personal use and possession of drugs for trafficking, thereby treating both consumers and peddlers of drugs as criminals. This fails to acknowledge drug addiction as a disease requiring treatment and rehabilitation rather than punitive action. Further, even the law enforcement agencies focuses on the cases of personal consumption of drugs rather than the root issue of drug trafficking. What is even more concerning is that despite the increase in drug bust, treatment, rehabilitation in case of drug addiction continue to be a low priority. A nationwide study by the Healthline shows a treatment gap of 75% for drug use disorders, revealing among those who need treatment, very few receive it. It is time for an effective and compassionate re-evaluation of India's drug policy that is grounded in scientific evidence, rather than one solely based on repression and punishment. Sound drug policies must consider the proportionality of criminal justice response to prioritize public health and harm reductions. That is, reducing the harm associated with drugs.
Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, our government is fully aware of the problems of drug trafficking and drug abuse. We are addressing the problem with a three-pronged strategy of reduction in the supply of narcotic substances, illicit drugs, dependence on drug management, treatment and rehabilitation of drug addicts, drug abuse prevention and demand reduction. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment has formulated and initiated the implementation of National Action Plan for Drug Demand Reduction, NAPDDR. The activities under NAPDDR inter alia include awareness generation programs in schools, colleges, universities, workshops, seminars, interaction with parents, community-based peer-led intervention programs for vulnerable adolescents and youth in the community. Moreover, the enforcement agencies of central and state government have been empowered to enforce the provision of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances, NDPS Act 1995. The Act provides for stringent penalties or rigorous provision of illicit trafficking of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. The Act follows graded punishment, wherein quantum of punishment is decided on the basis of quantity of drug involved in the trafficking. Thank you.
Mr. Vinay Shekhar, please.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, नशे की लत आजकल के युवाओं के बीच जंगल की आग की तरह फैल रही है। समस्या ये है कि हमारे पास इसे संकलित करने की संख्या या सुविधा है ही नहीं, पर हमें यह पता है कि हर दिन इसकी संख्या बढ़ती जा रही है। मैंने माननीय मंत्री जी को इसके संबंध में एक पत्र लिखा था, लेकिन अफसोस अभी तक कोई जवाब नहीं आया। अब मंत्री जी, क्या मैं आपको व्हाट्सएप करूं? इलाज को प्राथमिकता देने की जरूरत है, लोगों को शिक्षित करने की जरूरत है, क्योंकि कलंक, शर्म और शांति सिर्फ इस बीमारी को आगे बढ़ाएगी। इसके इलाज के लिए धन का अलग से एक इंतजाम करने की जरूरत है। हमें एक आपराधिक न्याय दृष्टिकोण से आगे बढ़कर नियंत्रण के साथ स्वस्थ मानवाधिकार दृष्टिकोण कर बढ़ना चाहिए। थैंक यू।
Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment, please.
Drug addiction and drug trafficking are a matter of concern for the entire world. This problem is not limited to any one country, rather the entire world is fighting against this societal evil. The entire nation should put up a joint fight to break the network of drug dealers. The enforcement arms of the government and central intelligence wings are monitoring the movement of narcotic drugs and are working on getting the exact number of cases of drug trafficking and the number of people addicted to drugs. We are now working closely with courier and parcel services. Don't worry, your parcel will be delivered safely.
Yeah, I did not order any parcel.
Anyways, we are doing it to track narcotic drugs, as it has been found that these services are being widely used to distribute drugs across the country. This enforcement can be further strengthened with public participation and by creating awareness about the danger of narcotic abuse among school and college students. The government has also initiated Nasha Mukt Abhiyan to increase awareness about the ill effects of drug abuse and to motivate the nation towards a drug-free life. The Narcotics Control Bureau is urging all students, their parents and teachers to take the anti-drug pledge. In this context, I'm glad to state that our Honorable Education Minister has herself administered this pledge to all students of Kendra Vidyalayas across the country.
Ms. Chinmay, please.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, सामाजिक न्याय मंत्रालय द्वारा किए गए एक राष्ट्रीय घरेलू सर्वेक्षण यह स्थापित करता है कि भारत में बड़ी संख्या में लोग मनोसक्रिय पदार्थों का उपयोग करते हैं। इसके वजह से वयस्क पुरुष ज्यादातर विकारों वाले इन पदार्थों से प्रभावित होते हैं। नार्कोटिक ड्रग्स एंड साइकोट्रॉपिक पदार्थ अधिनियम के अनुसार 1 किलो तक के पदार्थ को संसाधित करना दंडनीय नहीं है। कई फार्मेसी और इंटरनेट आधारित विक्रेता दवाएं बेचते हैं जिनमें वैध और वैध उत्पाद दोनों शामिल हैं। क्या यह सरकार ऑनलाइन फार्मेसी और मेडिकल शॉप के माध्यम से अवैध उद्देश्यों के लिए उपयोग किए जाने वाले औषधीय दवाओं की बिक्री और खरीद पर निगरानी करने के लिए कोई उपाय पेश करेंगे?
Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment.
Respected Speaker, Madam, I'm pleased to inform that this government has allocated rupees 135 crore. I repeat, rupees 135 crore, 4 times more than the amount in 2018 for efforts to prevent drug addiction. The Directorate General of Health Services have informed that sale and distribution of drugs are regulated under the provision of Drugs and Cosmetics Rules 1940 and rules made there under the country through a system of licensing and inspection. Licenses for sale and distribution of drugs are granted by state licensing authorities appointed by respective state governments. The state licensing authorities are empowered to take action against any violation of the conditions of the license. In the Drugs and Cosmetics Rules 1945, various schedules have been incorporated for regulation of various categories of drugs applicable even to online pharmacies. When we stand together as a nation, I'm sure that this problem could be tackled at the earliest. We shall endeavor to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield.
Next item in the agenda is bill introduction. Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry to introduce a bill.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I beg to move for leave to introduce the bill, the Industries Development and Regulation Amendment Bill 2022.
The question is that the leave be granted to introduce a bill further to amend the Industries Development and Regulation Amendment Bill 2022. Those who are in favor will say aye. Aye. Those who are against it will say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The leave is granted, Minister, to introduce the bill.
Yes, Madam. I introduce the bill.
Now, the House will take up the consideration of the National Anti-Doping Bill 2022. Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, it would be my great privilege to introduce to this House the National Anti-Doping Bill. Doping is the consumption of certain prohibited substances by athletes to enhance performance. The National Anti-Doping Bill 2022 proposes to provide a framework for the prohibition of doping in sports in our country. The bill prohibits athletes, athlete support personnel, and other persons from engaging in doping in sports. The athlete support personnel include coach, trainer, manager, team staff, medical personnel, and other persons who are working or treating or assisting an athlete. These persons must ensure that there is no violation of the following rules. First, the presence of the prohibited substance or their markers in an athlete's body. Second, possession of the prohibited substances. Third, refusing to submit a sample. Fourth, trafficking or attempted trafficking in prohibited substances. And at last 5, aiding or covering up such violations. If any of the athlete require any prohibited substances due to any medical condition, they may apply to the National Anti-Doping Agency for a therapeutic use exemption. Currently, anti-doping rules are implemented by the National Anti-Doping Agency, NADA, which was established as a society. The bill provides for constituting NADA as a statutory body headed by a Director General appointed by the central government. The National Board for Anti-Doping will make recommendations to the government on regulations and compliance with the international commitment on anti-doping. Anti-doping rule violation by any individual athlete or athlete support personnel may result in disqualification of the results, including the forfeiture of medals, prizes and points. I repeat, forfeiture of medals, prizes and points. Honorable Speaker, Madam, our country has been making progress in leaps and bounds in the field of sports in the recent years. I'm very sure that this bill will play a pivotal role in giving our sportsmen better credibility in the international arena. And I'm confident that all of the members in this house, irrespective of the party affiliation, will welcome this bill wholeheartedly and usher the country into a new era. Now, I move the National Anti-Doping Bill 2022 into consideration.
Motion moved that the National Anti-Doping Bill 2022 would aid in monitoring and controlling the doping activities in the country. Ms. Gayatri, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I am indebted to you for providing me with an opportunity to express my view on bill. It definitely is a matter of great shame for all Indians that 5 of our athletes tested positive on banned substances ahead of Commonwealth Games. Doping is clearly a critical issue in India as it is ranked 3rd by World Anti-Doping Agency report released in 2021. With 152 cases across discipline, and the country is just marginally below the leaders Russia and Italy. Thus, there is no doubt the country needs an anti-doping legislation. Functions of the agency include planning, implementing, monitoring the anti-doping rule violations. According to the Honorable Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, this bill provides for constituting a national anti-doping agency as a statutory body headed by the Director General appointed by the government. But let me raise my concern about the clause 5 of this bill. Honorable Speaker, Madam, this bill empowers the officials to act on their bill to suspect any athlete and create an unreasonable arbitrary authority on the hands of the individuals of this agency to enter the athlete's premises, seize any equipment, device or substance at their whim and fancy. I would like our minister to provide clarification on these clauses.
Ms. Sheba, please.
I stand here to support the National Anti-Doping Bill 2022. I think sports is something that should be above all the politics, and that is the only reason I support this bill wholeheartedly. Education should be on merit. Sports also should be on merit. I hope the entire organization would be completely autonomous, and I hope the Honorable Minister in his reply would tell us what is the selection process and who will be the right person for this job. I appreciate the work that the government done in Kalo India. Doping is something which is unfortunately happening because availability of new drugs in the market. Life of a sports person is very, very short. So everybody wants to be at a point where they can really benefit their own career. Sometimes the players itself is unaware of the combinations of the drugs. So what's most important in this doping bill is the awareness program. If it could combine Kalo India with information. Kalo India is not only about enhancing your performance, it's also about teaching what doping is, what are the do's and the don'ts, and what are the consequences and counseling. Because sports is just all about winning. It's also about discipline, performance, and trying your best. I hope the members agree with me. It's not always important to come first. I think doping should be shared the way we condemn tobacco and detox drugs. There should be national program which should be integrated to Kalo India to teach the hardworking sporting youth of India and the coaches that support them. Let's the sportsman spirit unite this country together. I would like to recommend one thing about the therapeutic use exemption. The prohibited medicines list should be readily available and some SOPs should be there. What are standard operating procedures that you would like? Do we have enough doping testing labs And can we integrate them into the Kalo India camps? Do we have enough technicians to do the testing? I don't think we have enough technicians. We need to train the technicians and the nutrition support. Nutrition is something that I like to talk about because there are so many powders which children think are protein supplements and enhances their energy. Many Indian athletes take Ayurvedic and homeopathic medicines without knowing they may contain banned substances. Our realities are different and that has to be factored into this bill. I appreciate the intent of this government to bring a dog-free India, but there is a big dark net where all these things are available. So how are you going to control all of this? If you could give us a comprehensive solution, and we're pleased to support this bill and help build a dog-free India.
Srimati Vantana, please.
I strongly oppose certain provisions of this bill. We are yet to open our eyes on the doping in our country, which was earlier confined only to the senior national level, but has now reached the junior, college and district levels. It is a serious concern which needs to be addressed. But I would like to raise my concern about certain provisions of this bill. The World Anti-Doping Agency's WADA guidelines require an independent process for determining the consequences of anti-doping rule violation. These include the requirement that a member of a hearing panel pool will not be removed from his position during his term unless there is an objective or overriding legal inability, involvement in doping or criminal activities, and violations on his duties as a member. I wish to see NADA as an independent authority. There are two issues related to the Director General of NADA. First, the qualification of the Director General. Second, the central government may remove the Director General from the office on behalf of misbehavior or incapacity or such other grounds. Leaving these provisions to the discretion of the central government may affect the independence of the Director General. These can also go against the mandate of the World Anti-Doping Agencies that such bodies must be independent in their operations. Under the bill, the board has powers to remove the member of disciplinary panel and appeal on grounds which will be specified by regulations and are not specified in the bill. Further, there is no requirement for giving them an extra opportunity of being heard. These may affect the independent functioning of this panel. Thank you.
Prime Minister, please.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, मैं उन सभी सम्मानित सदस्यों का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं जिन्होंने आज की चर्चा में भाग लिया। उन्होंने न केवल चर्चा में भाग लिया बल्कि कई महत्वपूर्ण सुझाव भी दिए। मैं आज इस सदन में यह दोहराना चाहूँगा कि यह देश उन सभी खिलाड़ियों के हित में है, खासकर ऐसे समय में जब भारतीय विश्व स्तर पर बड़ी जीत हासिल कर रहे हैं। हमने वाडा और यूनेस्को द्वारा बनाए गए दिशा निर्देशों से सबक लिया है और इस बिल में शामिल किया है। यह भारत के लिए एक ऐतिहासिक अवसर है क्योंकि इस विधेयक के माध्यम से हम अन्य देशों पर निर्भर नहीं रहेंगे और आत्मनिर्भरता की हमारी पहल का समर्थन होगा। अब भारत भी उन गिने चुने देशों में शामिल होगा जिनके पास एंटी डोपिंग कानून भी हैं और टेस्टिंग लैब भी हैं। खिलाड़ियों के सैंपल्स भेजने से लेकर दूसरे देशों पर निर्भरता कम होगी और यह विधेयक आत्मनिर्भर भारत को बल देगा। हाँ, आत्मनिर्भर भारत को बल देगा।
Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, a government will consider opening of more dope testing lab across the India, and we have been organizing awareness campaigns and workshops in hybrid mode in the last 2 years to sensitize players on banned drugs. NADA has also prepared the anti-doping toolkits which has to be provided to all players and tied up with FSSAI in connection with the testing of the dietary supplements. India can now join the League of Nations like US, China, France, Australia, Japan and South Korea to have a low and a dope testing laboratory. India can become a hub of anti-doping which will give birth to more dope testing laboratories, which will create more job opportunities and create opportunities of research and science and manufacturing relating to anti-doping. I just want to clear one more thing that NADA is an autonomous body which is not run by the government. NADA has given the autonomy to enhance and expand the body as per requirement. Under the bill, the agency can access the personal details of the athletes and use them in accordance with the international standard for the protection of privacy and private details. Data will be shared only to the relevant authorities only. As far as the sports is concerned, we should not follow the world, but we should be the world leaders in the upcoming years. Yes, we should become the world leaders in the upcoming years. I hope I have answered most of the questions raised by the members of the course of the speech. So I once again thanking you for your support and the cooperation on implementing this bill. I request the House to pass the bill.
The question is that the National Anti-Doping Bill 2022 be taken into consideration. Those who are in favor will say aye. Aye. Those who are against it will say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Now, let us take up the clause by clause consideration. The question is that clause 2 to 10 stands part of the bill. There is one amendment in clause 5 by Ms. Gayatri. Are you moving it?
Speaker Madam, I am happy and satisfied with the amendment done in the bill, and I also support the bill.
Now, the question is that clause 2 to 10 stands part of the bill. Those who are in favor will say aye. Aye. Those who are against it will say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, please.
Madam, I move the motion. Bill be passed.
Motion moved that the bill be passed. Those who are in favor will say aye. Aye. Those who are against it will say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Now, the House is adjourned to meet again tomorrow at 11 a.m.